come up? I am. Okay, let's do this. Matt, music, please.
All right, here we go. Have a great show.
Thank you.
Where does yesterday's future, which is already here, meet today's future, which is about to happen, and tomorrow's future, which could be just minutes away? Welcome to Technology Revolution, the future of now, where host Bonnie D. Graham asks savvy futurists for their predictions about the tech-driven trends that are shaping our future right now. Here's your host, who will take us into the future of now, Bonnie D. Graham.
Thank you to the voice who introduces me, Bonnie D. here in the house. Technology Revolution, the future of now. We have a topic today that impacts everybody on the planet, whether you know it or not. I've been asking people I meet recently, do you know what the circular economy is? And they say, I have no idea. And when I explain it in just a few words, they understand. Before I introduce my fabulous panel, I just want to tell you that eBay had an announcement recently called, Simon Meitz, you're going to love this, Secondhand September 101. It's called Pre-Loved and Loving It, a month-long quest to shop pre-loved instead of new. Reducing fashion production helps cool down the planet. Join the pre-loved fashion cycle. Saving the earth looks good on you. Top brands with a warranty, good for the planet, yes. Turn back the clock with nostalgic treasures, perfectly practical. I thought that was lovely. And I get a newsletter called Nice News, and the daily edition on September 4th. Everybody, you all sitting down? This is going to shock some of you. Lego, the Lego Danish toy company, is planning to make all its bricks from renewable recycled materials by 2032. All of it. Right now, only 22% are made sustainably, made from resin, plastics, fossil fuels. You all know the story. It's not going to be cheap, but Lego has promised not to raise the prices. And we know Legos are part of the learning experience for adults and children all over the world. I saw those two news items and I collected them. I thought you would all appreciate that. Now my listeners and audience know a little bit about what we're going to talk about. So I have an opening here, and guess I am going to have a little verse for your name. If I don't pronounce it right, correct me afterwards. And when I call your name, I want you to wave. Okay, here we go. Welcome, global audience, to Technology Revolution's Glow. Bonnie D on her Scarlett Mic is your host and guide. Oh, you know, the future of the circular economy and AI, going round and round, we'll explore with predictions from 5 futurists who all know the score. The circular economy is a model bright where waste is a new resource. That's right. Recycle, reuse, renew. You know, it's all about reducing what we throw. Here we go. Simon Meitz, wave hello. A visionary with strategy in sight, crafting circular systems, steering us right. At EY Carbon, he built innovation's core, shaping ESG across regions and more. From tech accelerators to summits worldwide, Simon drives sustainability where futures reside. What'd you think, Simon? Oh, he likes it. Good. Then we have Dr. Matthias Ballweg. Matthias, wave hello. Leads with a circular view, closing the loop on value streams fresh and new. From batteries to cars, his mission is clear, innovating systems year after year. A global collaborator shaping change with speed, driving sustainability, fulfilling the world's need. I hope you like that, Matthias. Oh, I gotta smile. Oh, thumb up. This is good. By the way, you can all use these poems after the show. I rent them out and I'll do a group rate for all of you. Okay, here we go. Katharina Peier, I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Innovation is in her soul. She crafts sustainable tech where future goals unfold. With prototypes born from AI's deep grace, her automotive expertise carves out new space. From growth to green, Katharina's passion is real, driving us forward on technology's wheel. She's still smiling. I think she liked that. Okay, there we go. Dr. Martin Reuttgers. Okay, Dr. Martin Reuttgers, leading BMD's closed loop way, harnessing circular systems, shaping the day. From solar power to AI's early light, he's pushed for sustainability with all his might. A global thinker with science in mind, building collaborations that intergenerations find. I hope you like that, Martin. He's still
perfect.
Yes. Good. And Adam Thompson is with us, IBM's sustainability guide in 50 plus countries. He has witnessed the tide from forests to oceans. Climate is his game with patents and projects that amplify his name. Beekeeper, kayaker, a protector of the land with a global vision and solutions well planned. I hope you like that, Adam. So join me and my guest futurists for a future so bright where circular thinking leads us to a new height in business, in life, circular economy, recycling is due. On Technology Revolution, we're getting started for you. So, kids, what'd you think?
Amazing, well done.
Amazing.
Okay.
Full opening, Bonnie.
Full transparency, full disclosure. You all have a bio. I limited your bio to 999 characters. That's about 250 to 300 words. I took all 5 bios. That's about 1,500 words. And I gave them to my good friend, ChatGPT. I have a name for her. She's my virtual assistant. She's Sally, my virtual assistant, like Mustang Sally. Okay. And I said, would you please help me write a little verse for each? And she decided you all had such robust experience that she had to do 6 lines instead of the usual 4. And then she sent it to me and I did the editing. So it's human plus AI. I want you all to know that's how the poem got done. Otherwise, I wouldn't have been able to do the show. I'd still be sitting here writing your poems. So thank you. I'm glad you enjoyed it. Now I'd like to go around the table just briefly, 2 minutes each. We have so much to cover here. We might have to do a part 2 next year. I don't know, Simon. It's possible. And everybody, quick round of applause for Simon Meitz for helping put together this wonderful panel. I know you're all wonderful. Simon worked with me. He came to me and said, let's do a show on circular economy. I said, you got to help me find the experts. And he said, no problem, Bonnie D. And he snapped his finger and here you all are. So Simon, you're the wonderkind here. So let's go around the table, 2-minute bio. Give me a little bit about what circular economy means to you and how it came into your purview, if you will, how it came into what you do for a living. Simon, you're up first, dear. I'm putting you on speaker view. Go ahead.
Well, I'm happy. I'm great to work together with you again, Bonnie. So I just do a very, very short bio. I've been in strategy consulting most of my life. I've been living in London, in Germany. Last stop was in Dubai, and back in Germany. So about like 6-7 years ago, I got really into sustainability. I co-founded EY Carbon, and from that milestone on in my life, sustainability and circular economy was really a part of everything I did. And from EY, I moved on to Reuttgers, another consultancy right now. And here I'm the head of strategy for circular economy and production systems. So again, staying true to the course and pushing the sustainability agenda.
Thank you very much. And thanks for suggesting the topic. It's long overdue. I think I did it a couple of years ago, but it's time again right now. Matthias, let's go to you. Please give us a little filling in the blanks on your bio and welcome, Matthias.
Thank you, Bonnie. I used to build trucks in a previous life. And while actually working on the sustainability agenda as well by electrifying Europe's fleets, I realized that there is much more to do. And I realized that the planet has much more boundaries than just climate change, right? We're not only doing bad on climate change, we're also doing bad on ocean acidification, on biodiversity, on novel entities in all human and animal bodies and ecosystems. And found that a circular economy is quite a powerful weapon to fight many planetary boundaries, not only carbon change. That's why I moved away from truck building industry and full into building circular ecosystems in several different aspects.
Thank you very much. Pleasure to have you here. I'm hearing a lot of sincerity and passion about this, Simon, which is what we're looking for in our panelists. Katharina, so nice to meet you. I'm putting you on speaker view. Please tell us a little bit about yourself.
Hi, thank you very much for the invitation. I'm Katharina. I'm leading the sustainability growth field at Continental Automotive within the research and advanced engineering team. And as you said already in your poem, innovation has been a huge part of my career from day one. And I really enjoy pushing into new areas, finding tech solutions for the automotive industry that can shape the future. And in one of my earlier roles, I had the chance to lead a team working on AI-driven prototypes. I really enjoy trying out new things with young talents here. And of course, some of the prototypes have been made it into today's products. So I'm very happy about that. And since 2021, I've been focusing entirely on sustainable technologies. I'm especially excited about electronics, reuse, and end-of-life handling. It's an area that doesn't get too much attention yet, but I believe it has a massive potential to make the industry more sustainable in the future.
Thank you. And today you're going to help give it more of the attention it deserves, Katharina, because people are watching you from all over the world. So let's get that message out. Martin, you are next. Fill in the blanks for us, please.
Yeah, hello. Thanks also from my side for the invitation. So I also work in the car industry, so to say. So we are experts in building cars. We are not expert in disassembling cars. And my vision is that at the end, we do disassembling of cars in the same manner as we used to do it for assembly of cars the last 100 to 150 years. So there's a huge challenge I see in using cars or parts of cars for a second time. I work in this area for BMW now since 7 years. The years before, I worked for the solar industry and the Desert Tech project, where we tried to implement transportation of solar power from North Africa to Germany. Was a huge, interesting project. Yeah, and it was my first step in circularity, and I'm very glad to be here. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. You're very kind. And Mr. Thompson, Adam, I have to do a shout out to one of your colleagues at IBM in the PR marketing department, Lily. And thank you for her email. She wanted to start promoting this, as Simon did a couple weeks ago, and I appreciate that. So Adam, putting you on speaker view. Let's hear who you are. Welcome.
Yeah, and from my side, just to finish this off, thank you, obviously, for the opportunity. I'd probably start with a bit more of a personal note. So we've been in this take, make, waste economy, certainly for my lifetime, but that's not always been the case. And although circularity might seem like a new trend or a buzz, it's been around forever, to be quite honest. It's just about the adoption. So I recall very fondly, I grew up in Sherwood Forest. So I live in Germany these days, but I grew up on a farm with my grandparents, and frugality and actually all these circular business models like agroforestry, which is popular now, they've always been there. It's more about how do we get the mass adoption and how do we actually get this in the mindset from day one. So then when we look at the innovative side and coming to my IBM role, and I would say that's also in my veins a little bit of the adoption of AI and how we actually look at it in, let's say, the macro context. So let's be quite blunt, 55% of global greenhouse gases are all around resource extraction. If we can resolve that with circularity, or at least make a dent in that, that's massive potential for everybody. Same with things like forever chemicals, how can we reduce them out of product life cycles? So myself, I came from very much a research science background and found myself going through the regulatory side, leading our ESG sustainable finance offerings, and now moving obviously with generative AI, how can we actually do a more broad brush adoption? And looking forward to unpicking that a little bit, because there is massive potential that we can all hopefully embed in what we're doing today. And I think kudos for this. And I think also looking forward to hearing from the other panelists today.
Thank you. You're all very gracious. I have a quick recycling story for you. Just came to mind. After my dad died, well, in my various marketing careers before I got into media, I was selling on eBay for quite a while in between jobs. It was fine. My mother was an antique dealer and she had all kinds of stuff around that. She said, start selling some of this stuff. So I did. Well, after my dad passed, we found an E.F. Martin ukulele in a cloth case in the attic of our home in Douglaston, Queens, New York. And I decided to put it on eBay. Well, I took pictures front and back and didn't realize there was a serious crack down the back. It had been dry in this attic for years. And somebody in Hawaii contacted me named Martin or Diamond Uke or something like that. And he said, there's a crack. You got to redo the price and all of that. So I said, full disclaimer, there's some hairline cracks in the ukulele. Well, somebody who called himself a mountain man in Norway contacted me on eBay. He only came into civilization once a month. And he said, I'm going to buy that from you. I sold it to him. He took about a month to get around to paying me, but I had faith. I packed the ukulele in a carton that was about 4 feet by 4 feet. I have no idea what it cost to ship it. I put about 10 pounds of bubble wrap around it and all kinds of things to protect it. It was precious. He received it, and a month later, I got a letter through eBay from him. and his name was Yuli, I think. And he said, "Your dad's E.F. Martin still sings beautifully. Thank you for making it part of my life." And my mother and I cried. That was one of the most beautiful. So I recycled the opportunity of a fine piece of musical equipment that my dad had enjoyed to somebody on the other side of the world through a simple piece of technology called eBay, or complex as it is, and made somebody happy. Simon, I don't know why that came to mind, but I haven't thought about it in years, but it was near and dear, keeping something going rather than throwing it away. How many people would have just said, "Oh, it's an old piece of music. Who cares? Dad's gone. Just chuck it," right? Well, I gave it to somebody else, and it was lovely. So let's go on. Thank you very much. Okay. Now, it's time for the show where we're going to have an opening quote from each of you that you picked from a fictional movie or TV character or a song lyric. Very briefly, let's keep this to about 2 minutes because we do want to get to those predictions. I have done a little research on each piece that you've sent me, each quote, and I'll read just a tiny bit. So Simon, you're up first. And Simon, I have here that your initials are JA between Simon and Meitz. You want to tell us what JA stands for?
Are we making those public now? Great.
It's up to
It's
you,
actually
dear.
Joseph. It's actually Joseph from my father. So his name is Joseph as well, and he thought his son needs a very strong name as well, the name of a warrior, and which was in that time a book that he was reading about Attila the Hun, the king of the Hun at that time. So that's how the Attila came across.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Well, we're such good friends. I thought it was time you shared your name with me and everybody else. Nobody else is listening. Nobody else is listening. Nobody else was listening. It was okay. Strong name. So Simon has picked a song performed by Mick Jagger from the Stones in 2004 in the romantic comedy drama film Alfie. The lyrics were by Mick Jagger, music by David Stewart, and it won the 2005 Golden Globe Award for Best Original Song. It was the first song in 5 years that won the Golden Globe but was not nominated for an Oscar. And Mick Jagger did a version, Sheryl Crow did a version. Here is the line: "Old habits die hard." Oh my, Simon, how perfect. Go ahead. Tell us what it means for our topic. Go ahead.
To be honest, Old Habits Die Hard really, in my mind, highlights the challenge of shifting away from this entrenched and linear economy that we are normally used to. We take, we make, we dispose of things, and we move now to hopefully to a more sustainable circular model where we prioritize resource efficiency more, where we are trying to extend the lifetime of products and material, of course. And I think this development is long overdue. And maybe it's not something completely new, as Adam just said, but I think we have to revive it. And technology and AI in particular can be a powerful tool to break those old habits and help us optimize resource use and improve supply chains, for example, enabling predictive maintenance and so on. And maybe one final thing, not about that quote now, but I just checked my field notes here. Yeah, and to be honest, I have this. Can you see that? I have the Lego example here as well, and you can see that in 2 more lines on this. In the first half a year in 2024, they actually increased their returns by 13% compared to Mattel, that are -1, and Hasbro is -21. And they're investing $445 million for sustainability per year now.
There you go. See, great minds think alike. I saw that example. I do a show called, I won't name what the show is, but anyway, I research headlines for that show. It's just a fun little sideshow I do. And it came across as one of those wacky, weird headlines. Lego, what? Sustainability? Seriously? So I put it in my notes. And then when we put this show together, I said, I got to share that one. So thank you very much. Let's go to Matthias. Quote from, this was interesting, Scrooge McDuck. 1952, a print cartoon. I've never had a quote from a print cartoon set to music with no voices, no audio. And the print, what they say is over the top of the character. So I watched the video, Matthias, of this print cartoon. In other words, it was like a book that somebody made a video of with music underneath it. The title of the video of the book is Only a Poor Old Man. Scrooge McDuck, a cartoon character created in 1947 for the Walt Disney Company by Carl Banks. Scrooge is a Scottish-born American anthropomorphic Peking duck. Like his nephew Donald, everybody knows Donald Duck. He has a yellow-orange bill, legs and feet. He wears a red or blue frock coat, a top hat, pince-nez glasses, spats of varying color, portrayed in animation as speaking with a Scottish accent, which I don't do very well. Named after Charles Dickens' 1843 holiday novella, A Christmas Carol, the character Scrooge from A Christmas Carol. Okay, so here is the line. Interesting. I made it by being tougher than the toughies and smarter than the smarties, and I made it square. Matthias, I have no idea how you found this and what does it have to do? Everybody's saying, what does it have to do with our topic? Go ahead, Matthias.
Thank you, Bonnie. Actually, a lot when I thought about it. Like I came to that just by being a huge Duck fan. Scrooge McDuck has absolutely incredible stories, especially by Don Rosa, famous drawer of Scrooge McDuck stories, by the way. He became the richest duck, the richest person on Earth, and he's proud that he did so by being super tough. And while it's a fictional story, I think this relates to circular economy and especially also to the interface of AI and circular economy. Circular economy is nothing that will win just by being more sustainable and more ecologic. We're just realizing that there will not be a successful business in the 30s of this century that has not embedded circular economy in its DNA. What digitalization was in the 90s, that it started and some were already digital, some weren't, is now circularity. So many supply chains will break, critical materials will be scarce. If you put circular economy, circular business models to your DNA, you'll be successful, and people understanding how to really use circular economy will become incredibly rich, right? They will not only save the planet, they will also become incredibly rich. That's the first association, why it's Scrooge McDuck. And the second is, it's still super hard. It's never just replacing one material by recycled content, right? In hardly any product, in hardly any industry, you can say, I currently have this plastic polypropylene, and I now use recycled polypropylene. It's not cheaper. The specs are different. It will not work. Martin probably can tell you from the auto industry, you can't just take a car and say, let's use it as a shared car so many people can use it and still earn more money. Doesn't work like that. It's really need to get into specifications in depth. You need to work on the business model in parallel to adjusting the product. It needs the toughest cookies. It needs the smartest guys. It needs PhD level AI, and then you can do it. But if you do it, you'll be incredibly rich.
The toughest of the toughies and the smartest of the smarties. I think we got to put that, I won't graffiti it anywhere. We got to crochet that or crewel work it on the side of a pillow somewhere. A t-shirt. We got to get t-shirts for that, Matthias. You're going to get t-shirts for all of us. I'll send you my size later. Thank you very much. Katharina, you're up next. Katharina's picked one of our favorite quotes said by Dory, a regal blue tang, voiced by Ellen DeGeneres in Finding Nemo, 2003 animated comedy drama adventure film produced by Pixar for Walt Disney. And yes, Ellen DeGeneres voiced this. And here is the quote: when life gets you down, do you want to know what you got to do? Just keep swimming. Just keep swimming, 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 swimming. I didn't sing it and I don't have the music. Katharina, forgive me. Katharina, talk to us. What does this have to do with our topic, please?
I will also not sing it, but I choose that scene from Finding Nemo. It's where Dory and Marlin are in the ocean searching for Nemo, and Marlin is tired, discouraged, but Dory, with her simple optimism, keeps telling him to keep going. And for me, this is really how we should approach innovation, especially when it comes to integrating AI into circular economy. Like the ocean, the challenge can feel endless, uncertain. It's easy to get stuck or feel like the problems are too big. to solve. But Dory's message, just keep swimming, reminds us that innovation happens step by step. Even when the way forward isn't clear, we have to keep moving, keep trying, and trust that the progress will come. And AI can help us navigate the complex world of circular economy, of course, improving recycling, reducing waste, finding smarter ways to use and reuse resources. And it might not always be easy, but if we stay persistent like Dory, I think we will find our way.
Thank you. And I like the way you said if we have simple optimism or even simply optimism. Very good point, Katharina. Thank you for the quote. Let's go to Martin. Martin has picked a quote said by, actually from a docudrama, space docudrama, 1995, Apollo 13. Astronaut John, nicknamed Jack Swigert, played by Tom Hanks, is speaking. This movie was directed by Ron Howard, starring Tom Hanks, Kevin Bacon, Bill Paxton, Ed Harris, Gary Sinise. Wow. The film depicts astronauts Lovell, Swigert, and Fred Hayes aboard the Apollo 13 for America's fifth crewed mission to the moon, intended to be the third to land. En route, an onboard explosion deprived the spacecraft of much of its O2 oxygen supply and electrical power, forcing flight controllers at NASA to abort the moon landing and struggle to get the three men home safely. I still get shivers when I think about that. Here is the quote, and it's a paraphrase of what they really said, not exactly, but for the movie this works. Houston, we have a problem. Okay, Martin, talk to me.
Yeah, so it sounds very dramatically, and that's why I like this quote, because it's dramatically as I see the consumption of raw materials increasing very heavily over the last couple of years. And the interesting thing with this quote is that is not really what was said 1970 during this mission, because it was said, Houston, we have had a problem. And there we come back to this optimism I also have, yeah. It's dramatic, the situation we see in the circular economy with the consumption of raw materials. But I think we have had a problem because so many good people have understand what we have to do. I see a strong community working on the circularity topics, and I'm quite optimistic that together we can solve the upcoming problems. And so I would say we have had a problem. And that's why I think that the quote is very interesting, yeah, in many dimensions.
Very cleverly done, Martin. I like the way you tied that in there. Thank you very much. Adam has picked a quote from an adult animated sitcom, 2011 to the present, called Bob's Burgers. I have never seen it, but it's on my watch list. The character is Gene Belcher, voiced by Eugene Merman, Mirman, sitcom created by Lauren Bouchard for the Fox Broadcasting Company, centers on the Belcher family. Oh, I'm saying that right. Bob and Linda and their children, Tina, Jean, and Louise, who run a burger restaurant and often go on adventures. Gene, the middle child and the only boy, is an aspiring keyboardist and a prankster at 11. He's confident, laid back, enthusiastic, loud like his mother, also resembles his young father. He serves as comic relief, making double entendres or cultural references. The least mature of the siblings, he's distracted, called Gening out. Poor hygiene, plays make-believe, open to conversation. He has school friends. He's an aspiring musician. He plays on his sampling keyboard. And in the restaurant, he stands out front in a burger costume. I think we're all very familiar with Gene now. Thank you very much. Here is the quote Gene said that Adam, you know I get to it eventually. One man's trash is another man's Christmas gift for Dad. Okay. Delightful. Adam, how did you find this? Go ahead.
Yeah, there's a little true story behind this. So going back to my bachelor student days, like 2 decades ago, I did have a good friend. He wasn't called Gene. He was called Mark. And of course, as a student, you're a bit strapped for cash. So of course, resource is paramount. So he decided what would be right at Christmas time to buy his parents and his brother. And of course, on this occasion, in the context of circularity, how do we not make waste, but actually how do we actually reuse what we already have with the finite resource? So the joke a little bit is that his mother did actually give him some money to go buy Christmas presents, and he bought himself something very very nice, and he had £5 left over. So he went to an Aladdin's cave and literally bought a bone china tea set for the family. So wrapping up, the plates and the saucers for his mum, the bowls and the dishes for his brother, and his dad got the teapot. So indeed, when we talk about one man's trash is another man or dad's Christmas gift, there was actually a little bit of a truth in this story. But joking aside, obviously for circularity, how do we actually re-leverage, reuse the resource that's actually available? And obviously, more importantly, how can we actually make sure that that's something that's worthy for future generations? So a little bit of trivia, but also a bit of truth at the same time.
Very appreciated, very much. Thank you all for the quotes. I appreciate the work you did, and very clever quotes and sources. And I have to check out the Scrooge McDuck, Matthias. That's new to me. Okay, here we go. We're going to get into the predictions now, and I'm going to pick one prediction from each of you to start. Let's see how much time we have. Your predictions are very concise, so I think we'll get through a lot of them. Simon, I've already put one in the chat for you with a note to you. I will read your prediction. Simon, take a look. It's in the chat on Zoom. I will read your prediction that I select after I put it in the chat privately to you. So one is up for Adam, and Matthias, you'll have one in just a second. I want you to unpack it for 2 to 3 minutes. And if anybody else has a comment on it, I think you all have 10 fingers. I don't respond to the middle one, but any other finger you can wiggle at me visually and I will see it, and I will call you with a 1-minute commentary. Okay, so we can keep this moving. So Simon, I picked your prediction number 1, and he likes this one. So you say AI will increase the lifetime and optimize the use phase of HVB, that's high voltage batteries for electric vehicles. Now, this gets into a topic that isn't our topic today, but it's important to what we're talking about. So, Simon, talk about this lifetime of the batteries. How is AI going to help? Go ahead, Adam, 3 minutes.
Thank you.
I'm sorry, not Adam. I meant Simon. I'm sorry. Adam, I was so charmed by your accent. I'm sorry. I forgot. Simon, it's yours. Go ahead.
So, lifetime extension. I think that's a quite interesting part where AI can help. So there's a few studies that suggest that the lifespan of EV batteries, and probably Martin is gonna jump in a second and tells me, hey, maybe I'm a little bit off there, but it says, okay, about 8 to 15 years. I think there's still some experience to come to see how long they actually last in the end of the day. And with AI, we can with the AI optimization of the use phase, we can extend this lifespan by about 20 to 30% through smart use and smart charging. That's one thing. Then we can also, with AI, drive the optimization by using AI-driven battery management systems to increase the efficiency overall. So here we are talking, and I'm throwing a number out there. Of course, it's always debatable, 10 to 20%, which means more range with a single charge, and a reduced stress, of course, for the battery itself. And if we look at all those aspects, it will save the consumer money. You can reach further distances, and ideally, if you're analyzing using AI the usage, the patterns that a customer has, for example, the things he likes, the things he doesn't like, where he likes to eat, when he doesn't want to do a break whilst traveling on holidays, for example, that all of that pays into the comfort aspect of driving electric vehicles. And I guess those 3 key aspects here is really what the doctor ordered here, because you're not selling the car by telling the customer, hey, we are a lot more sustainable and circular. You're selling the car and selling circularity itself by telling them, hey, you can reach further distances. It makes your life more comfortable, and in the end of the day, it saves you quite a lot of money. So here you go. That's my first prediction. Increase of lifespan optimization of the use phase of high voltage batteries.
You hit all the high points. Thank you very much, Simon. Anybody have any comments on that quickly? You all good? Everybody loved it so much, Simon. Okay, I'm going to go on to Matthias. I put yours in the chat for you. Matthias says, this is a core comment here from Matthias, a core prediction. AI will be the core enabler for efficient dismantling of products because after use, products are all different. I've never heard that approach before, Matthias. Very interesting. Please tell us more.
Happy to. So let's unpack this a little bit.
Yep.
Used materials are typically not cheaper than existing ones. Think about old cables or old batteries. If you want to get old cables like copper with some plastics around, for use, people will ask more money from than if you get new ones where copper is mined somewhere in the global south, brought all those 10,000 of kilometers to you. Like, why is that? Why for batteries the same? Getting material, lithium, cobalt, nickel from old batteries, recycling of old batteries, it costs thousands of euros per ton and makes it more expensive than virgin material. Why is virgin material or virgin components and products, why are they actually cheaper? And the reason is process efficiency. For decades, we learned how to increase process efficiency, automate processes like production processes. Putting plastics around a copper stream to make a cable is super optimized. And in the 90s, lean methods came from Japan to the rest of the world, and we eliminated all kinds of waste in processes, and every millisecond in the production processes were optimized, and there is no slack left, there is hardly waste left. A few percentages, 2-3% every year of efficiency increase are in the products we currently use. And that's a core reason why making a new product out of an old one is still expensive. Although it seems so obvious, it's here, right? Someone is giving it to you for free, the old one. So there is no cost for the raw copper, for the raw lithium, for the raw material. There is no cost for 10,000 kilometers of transport. And the reason is that dismantling is complex. For example, an old battery, let's stay with the example, Simon. If I have an old battery in front of me, in Europe, for example, almost all old batteries are dismantled manually. It's super expensive, people. High voltage certification level 1000 is needed, something like that to touch it, right? And it's unscrewed, and the screw can be rusted. And then you can't screw it, then you need to drill it. But AI can solve it. We already have startups in Europe. We're at Circular Republic, we're working with some of them, where there's a visioning camera on a robot arm, and it is finding the screw and detecting, is it rusted? Then I drill it, or is it still okay? Then I just screw it out. And by that is doing automated dismantling. So dismantling is more complex than new production. But AI can help us to still get into low costs. And that's what's needed to get the same price points.
Thank you very much. Any comments? Simon, you were summoned there at one point. Any comments? Oh, Martin raised his hand. Martin, talk to me.
Yeah. I like this prediction very much because it's exactly what I intend to say. It's the beginning of this round here. We have optimized the assembly of cars since so many years, and now we are in a phase where we have to optimize the disassembly of cars. And when it comes to disassembly, it also means reuse of parts in this car. And I totally agree that with Matthias, actually, the reuse of an old part from a car, it's very cost intensive because you have to remanufacture, you have to define new specifications, you have to release these used parts to use a second time in a car. So very complex and high cost processes. And I totally agree. When we reach a target that we can disassembly and reuse a part with a similar automation as we have actually in the manufacturing of cars, it will bring us a huge step forward in this question. Thank
you.
And in the question of really how to use this part and which, let's say, disassembly steps you have to do to be successful in this business.
Thank you, Martin. Anybody else have any comments on Matthias' prediction? Adam, raise your hand. Go ahead, please.
Yeah, I agree with all the sentiments and the comments that have been made this far. I think one key nuance when we talk about circularity in this context is there's obviously the economical viability that's clear in terms of what that actually costs pre and post production. But now I think, especially we start looking at some of the new standards that come out hopefully next year with like the global circularity protocol, it's the ecological value, which I think is the other key part when we talk about circularity transition indicators. And I think that's the part where, although it's not a black number, let's call it the green number. If you then overlay that, then it starts to change exactly what the business model is in the circularity text. And I think that's where AI definitely has a role to play, because right now that number is hidden for most, to be quite honest. It's hard to stay, and it's arbitrary for a lot of the components we're talking about. But I think once that gets more refined, because we are on a journey, then I think that will not just change the mindset. I mean, let's be honest, all of us with an abacus, if the numbers look good, well, that's obviously a good investment, right? So I think that's the thing to really look at here in terms of the holistic, or the time frames, not suddenly like for ourselves in like 12 or 24 months, but more like the 5-10 year horizon that we should be looking at when we embed this in terms of our business processes.
Thank you, Adam. Matthias, you have a very brief extra example for us. Go ahead.
Just briefly, also to show that it's not only in the car industry. For example, we're working with textiles, and if you have an old jacket, Patagonia Gore-Tex jacket, for example, currently, if you want to put that to re-commerce and to a second life market, you need a person to check it for quality purposes, but even for product identification. But all AI is now already capable to do that. So imagine Google Lens, right? That you can train the algorithms behind Google Lens and Apple Lens and so on, that it tells you whether that's a Patagonia jacket or a Mammoth jacket. And it can also tell you from looking at it, at least to a certain degree, whether it's still water repellent and so on. And then you can leverage to reduce those costs of bringing it back to life.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Maybe
Simon,
one further comment from my side on this.
Simon, come a little closer to your mic. We're having a little trouble hearing you.
Can you hear me now? It's better?
Yes, a little better. Thank you. Go ahead.
A short comment maybe on this one. I mean, we've been working with some of our clients on remanufacturing processes. We can see that there is a business case to remanufacture, for example, motors, etc., of cars. And the companies will move there, but we've been experimenting a bit with AI as well, and we saw that the AI as it currently stands still has to evolve as well. So it's quite hard to identify the cores and the materials, their status, their model, to manage all the different variants that you have to deal with the AI that is currently out there. So there is a bit of evolving on that part needed as well.
Thank you very much. I want to move on because we have 3 more predictions to do, and we've got about 11 minutes left. So let's truck through this, okay? Let's electrify the truck through this. Katharina, prediction number 3, I put it in the chat for you. AI will drive the development of, and I'm putting this in air quotes, hardware-less services by replacing physical electronic products with digital alternatives. Interesting. Katharina, 2 minutes. Go.
Yes, I can just agree what the others said. It's really complex to think about recycling, reuse, and I wanted to bring in another dimension of circularity is avoid products, and this is what I want to bring here, because AI is driving a shift toward the hardware-less services by replacing physical electronic components with digital alternatives. Especially in the automotive industry, but also in other industries, this transformation offers significant benefits in terms of reducing costs, weight, and complexity in modern vehicles. One of the key examples is the consolidation of control units into high-performance computers. Instead of using multiple control units for different functions, systems combine various tasks, such as cluster, display, infotainment, and advanced driver assistance systems into a single powerful computing unit. This not only reduces the number of physical parts, but also minimizes the extensive wiring and complexity of the vehicle architecture. And additionally, we are moving towards a software-defined vehicle architecture, where software plays a much larger role in managing hardware resources. services. Features can be added or uploaded throughout the vehicle lifetime without needing physical changes. For example, engine performance or energy efficiency can be optimized via software updates, and drivers can enjoy a personalized experience without modifying the hardware itself. So over-the-air updates is another significant development. Regular software updates can deliver performance improvements, new features, critical security patches, all without the need for replacing or upgrading the hardware. And this is not only reducing the environmental impact, but also it tends the lifespan, as we heard, of vehicles by keeping them up to date with the latest technology. In some cases, digital alternatives are completely replacing physical components, also very interesting. Take, for example, a digital twin. These virtual models of vehicles components allow for rapid testing and analyzing without the need of physical prototypes. Instead of creating new hardware for every test, manufacturers can run virtual crash tests or use predictive maintenance to assess performance, cutting down on material waste and the need for physical hardwares.
Thank you very much. I'm not going to take comments because I have one from Martin queued up and then one from Adam, and then we'll wrap up. We'll come back for part 2. Don't worry, everybody. There'll be plenty more. Martin says AI will have a decisive influence on the optimization of research and development, R&D processes for products that are recyclable or remanufacturable in the coming decade. Martin, just 2 minutes because I want to sneak in a prediction from Adam after you. Martin, go ahead, please.
Yeah. So actually, parts, for instance, parts within a car, we talked a little bit about high voltage battery at the beginning of this meeting, are not designed for reuse or for recycle. They are designed for having the lowest manufacturing cost or delivering the highest capacity, but not for recycling. And in the future, the development process for this kind of parts has to take in account how we can recycle or reuse these parts, and you have to play around with different type of materials, with different type of methodologies, how you assemble parts and so on. So a very complex process you have to optimize so that the recycling or the remanufacturing processes we discussed before are much, let's say, easier, much cheaper that it comes to more recycling or reuse of parts.
Thank you very much. Let me move on to Adam, and then we'll have a couple of minutes for some leftover comments, okay? Adam, prediction number 4, this is interesting. AI will help consumers to be engaged in the product design phase. Oh my, this isn't one-on-one make for me, is it? I think we're talking something bigger. Go ahead, Adam.
Okay, I'll keep it to 2 minutes, promise.
Yeah, go ahead.
Obviously, both whether it's a B2C or B2B or equivalents, we want more and more individualized and customized product goods and services. The point here is that when we're talking about circularity in this context, and not just the involvement of the actual design, whether it's for a car, whether it's for a mobile device, consumers are more savvy and astute to what is in the bill of materials going into that end product, good or service. And they also want to have that line of transparency and trust in the data that they're actually getting, because there's been, unfortunately, so much in the past of greenwashing, bluewashing, etc. And obviously, consumers want to know what they're investing in or what they're going to consume is A, what they're getting, and B, good for the planet fundamentally. So there's an example about Patagonia with the clothes just a few moments ago. If we talk about jeans, a bit like Lego bricks, Levi's is another public one where they recycle obviously their jeans for building insulation afterwards as a sort of a side product. So where we're going with AI in this case is we've got a bit of a speed dating, matchmaking scenario going on as to what are the actual requirements and outcomes individuals expect. But then on the other side, what is the actual impact? And impact's an important word here. It's not just about nice marketing, brand communication. No, it's actually, is it net zero in terms of climate? Is it nature neutral or nature positive, hopefully, in terms of actually how it gets reused, consumed? And AI gives you that chain of custody, but it also allows, and I gave the example in my intro about hazardous chemicals like PFAS, which we need to remove from our production life cycles. So in other words, hazardous waste, which we can't continue with if we want our planet to live on. And it's really that engagement with the consumer, and they will help drive, even if it costs more at a premium, what should be in that bill of material and that in good state in the end. And all I can say is here, I'm all for that, and more transparency and engagement with consumers going forwards.
Thank you very much. Sorry about the rush there. I appreciate that. I have 3.5 minutes to close. So what I want to do is have you each, let's go around the table, one thing you are most excited about where AI will be part of the future of the circular economy. It could be a product example. It could be something, a bigger process example. So let's go around the table. Simon, one sentence, go. I am most excited about.
I think I'm most excited about the new development in the high voltage battery area. Researching batteries that are safe, cost efficient, as powerful as the old models, but also easier to recycle and to replace single cells.
Thank you. Matthias, go.
Adding to Katharina, I'm super excited about the disruptive moment that comes in when AI is helping to put a digital solution instead of a material-based one.
Wonderful. Katharina, you've been summoned. Go ahead.
For me, it would be if we could combine everything what we heard today, the data and everything, to get to a design tool to help engineers to just create sustainable products. That would be amazing if we could do that.
Ooh, Martin.
But it's a long way to go there.
Martin, well, but you said it. You put it out there. Martin, what do you think?
Yeah. For me, it's the entire electrification road we are on there, talking about how voltage batteries and the reuse of these batteries and the reuse of other parts in the car. That's, from my perspective, is really what I'm very exciting how it will develop in the future.
I think we need a show on the future of AI and automotive, because I've done that, but not with this panel. Adam, one line here. What's your excitement here?
I'm most excited about how AI will super drive circularity to resolve our planetary solvency crisis.
Thank you very much. Everybody, we're just about out of time, but I'll tell you quickly, I can squeeze this into one thing. In the 70s, I lived in a small house in Cambridge, Massachusetts with my young son and my husband, who was an architecture student at Harvard. And he went to a junkyard and he bought what we didn't know, circular economy. He bought lights that we put in our kitchen. He bought old bar stools from a diner, and we put a platform in our kitchen and had bar stools. These were ancient. He bought a water closet that we hung it from the ceiling in the bathroom instead of a toilet tank with a chain. This was in the 70s. What did we know? It was a junkyard and everything looked good and it was cheap, and he brought it home and we rebuilt the house. What can I tell you? Everybody, I want you to put your finger up. You're going to help me yell out no, no, no on the count of 3. People say, come on, put your finger up, everybody. We didn't rehearse this. Come on, Martin, you can do it. Katharina, Adam. People say the future is already here, and our answer is 1, 2, 3, no, no, no. No, 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 no. Come on, Katharina, with some energy. No, no, no. That's because that was...
No, no, no.
That was yesterday. That was the future when I was thinking of saying that, and that's already in the past. Let's move it forward. 30 seconds left. Thank you to our engineer, Matt. It might be Jordan now at Voice America. Goodbye to LinkedIn. Goodbye to Facebook. Goodbye to YouTube. Bonnie D signing off. And everybody, don't go away from my panel. We have things to talk about. Okay, Matt or Jordan, are we out?